Well, I'm back on step 3 on these beets. I don't know if you've watched part 1 or part 2, but I've got them peeled and I put them in the refrigerator for a little while we had lunch. And this is what I've ended up with. So now we'll make our syrup and get ready to put them in my jars, because I've got sterilized jars back here. But just so I can show you, we're going to work right here. This is just a big pot that we're going to put our vinegar and sugar and water in. What are we going to start with? The recipe that I use for my syrup come out of this old little cookbook here. It's a little community cookbook, and it was actually Bell Grove chapter 56, Order of the Eastern Star. And the one I've used for 40 something years is beet pickles, and put in here by Deanna Bradley. That's who put this recipe, and it's the one that I use. So I'm going to use it again today. And I don't think I made any beets last year, but about every other year I do some pickled beets. And this is the year the beets grew, so I've got beets. So here we go. First thing we're going to do is get some of this. Oh, let me reach over here. We're going to get 2 cups of beet water. And I've showed you we need to save that beet water. And this don't have to be real accurate. There's my beet water. I'll put that in there. I may end up doubling the recipe to have enough to cover the beets. I'm going to turn it on. And I'm going to get 2 cups of vinegar. And I'm going to finish off this little dab of white. That one's empty now, but I've got 2 more jugs here. I've actually got a white one and the apple cider, and I don't think it matters which one you use. So I'm going to use the apple cider. I'm going to open it. It's been sitting down in the pantry, and I'm going to get 2 cups of that. I'm going to put that in there. And I want 2 cups of sugar. This is just plain old white sugar. And I'm going to mix that up. Let me scoop some of this stuff back out of the way. This is not just going to be a real detailed recipe, but instructions. And I may do some more of that. I may double this recipe and add 2 more cups of each thing. And I've got whole cloves, stick cinnamon, whole allspice, and whole cloves. And I'm going to put about a teaspoon just in my hand, about a teaspoon each one of them. Just make them a little bit spicy pickled beets. About a teaspoon of those. And I'm not going to take them out. You know, I'm just going to leave them in my jar when I put these beets in the jar. And there's a stick of cinnamon. I can break it. I'll put 2 of them. There. Now, I can already smell that getting spicy. But now that's the initial recipe, and I don't think that's enough, so I'm going to add it one more time. I'm going to do it one more time. 2 cups of the beet water, 2 cups of vinegar, and you want to make sure that you've got plenty of vinegar in it, because we're not going to pressure it. So it's going to be the vinegar and the sugar that's the preservative in our pickled beets. And 2 cups of sugar. My sugar's here in the thing on the 2 cups of sugar. Now, do I want to add a little bit more spices? But I want that to dissolve. I'm going to add a little bit more. Make them, not a whole lot. Let me scoop some of this stuff back out of the way. because my beets here, move that lid back to that pot. And you could do, here's my beets, and some of them are kind of big. And so what I want to do, let me stir that. Some of them bigger ones, I'm going to quarter them up, or you could slice them. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to quarter the big ones, so they're just smaller pieces. And the little ones, they're all different sizes out of the garden, so the little ones I'll just leave like that. And the big ones, do that. There, see, there's a big one. I don't want it that big. And I'm not sure how many I'll have here. I could have already had these sliced up, but I don't, or cut up, but I don't. Some of them I'll just quarter one time. Keep that stirred a little bit. And it gets really good and hot. And I can't tell you the temperature you want it, but you want it kind of hot and bubbly. Then we're going to pack them into the jars. And you could eat the beets like this. Want me to eat one? And it has nothing on it, just cooked beet right now. They're better pickled. I've ate 2 or 3 of them today like that. Not a bunch of them. These big ones. And some of them, let me see if you can see the difference in the color. Can you see? Some of them kind of, all the color kind of drained out of them, and some of them still bright and colorful. This is a big one. And I'm not an expert at this. I've just done it for a lot of years. Grew up with my mama doing it, and then when I got married, I started canning. And some of them I'm just going to leave the size they are. Not even going to do much slicing to them. I don't know, I may have 6 or 7 pints. I got 10 pints ready. But that color is so pretty in that bowl. I'm just going to pour them in there like that. Wash these hands. Now, I'm going to let those heat all the way through. And then I'll put them into my jars that I've got sterilized and ready. I'll use my funnel. I'm still not got everything all together. I'm kind of hitting the mess here, just giving you a brief rundown of what I do. I'm going to have to get my jars ready. I forget where I got these. I bought these in bulk 2 or 3 years ago when there was a shortage. So I'm going to use those jar lids. I'll put the beets in there. I'll wipe the top. I'll put one of these on that I've washed and cleaned up. And I'll put a ring on it, and then it'll seal, and in a few days it'll be pickled beets. That's about all there is to it. It's took me all day to get to this step, but that's going to be it. Almost, if I could think of something to talk to you about, I'd just talk to you a minute while that gets hot to show you how they go in the jar. But I've got a thing or two I want to do while this is heating. It's a long way from being hot enough to go in here. Because I want it to be really good and hot. See that? Alright, I gave you a crash course on my pickled beets today and shared the recipe that I've used for years. That's about, you'll just have to try it. That's about all I can tell you. Because I tell everybody I do a lot of stuff, but I'm not an expert on anything. I'll see y'all. I'll be done with this job in a little bit and I'll go do something else. Bye y'all.